Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Lila and I are going to make ground beef Wellingtons out of a Taste of Home air fryer cookbook. And one interesting thing I found about Taste of Home is I just looked at the book section at Walmart today. Now they do have a magazine out from Taste of Home for air fryers and it's $10. But I was flipping through it to see if there was any different recipes. Yes, there's a few. But a lot of them look like was in here, and it says that they're going to change magazines, a different issue in January. So I'm going to go ahead and hold out on that, and I'll let you know if it puts out anything different or what's going on with it. But it's $9.99 versus this, which is around $15. So I guess that's up to you, whatever you prefer if you're interested in that kind of thing. But today we're making ground beef Wellingtons, and beef Wellingtons usually is made with filet mignon, and it is a very hoity-toity meal. This is not going to cost nearly as much as a filet mignon because we're using ground beef. It is extremely delicious, and you make your own mushroom sauce with it. I believe it's cream of mushroom, but anyway, you make a roux and use a bunch of big French words and stuff, so it's a gravy, whatever you want to call it. So I already got some of my stuff prepped. So for this recipe, you're going to need half cup chopped fresh mushrooms, 1 tablespoon of butter, 2 teaspoons all-purpose flour, 1/4 teaspoon pepper divided, half cup of half and half cream, 1 large egg yolk, 2 tablespoons finely chopped onion, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, half pound ground beef, 1 tube, 4 ounces of refrigerator crescent roll, 1 large egg beaten lightly, optional, and teaspoon of dried parsley flakes. So this is one of those recipes I was talking about where the measurements are extremely important. I took out my kitchen scale and weighed out exactly 8 ounces of ground beef. And why this is important, because you have to make 2 Wellingtons with this. Although this says 8-ounce tube and this is calling for a 4-ounce tube. So I probably will be able to get away with 4 Wellingtons. Maybe. I don't know. We'll find out. I never paid attention to the size before, so maybe we'll just make it the way I did before. So I have my egg yolk in here, my beef, my chopped onion. Over here I have all-purpose flour, half and half, mushrooms, and butter already in a skillet. Now, one thing about this recipe that I did make last time, it has you make the sauce first, the gravy, and then you're supposed to take 2 tablespoons of that and mix it in with here. And honestly, I don't think it makes that big of a difference because it's only asking for like 2 tablespoons. And by the time this sits on the stove or whatever, it ends up like losing volume. It's just not as good. You have to end up adding half and half to it and everything else. So I am just going to skip that step for now, and we'll start on with the Wellingtons. So we're supposed to combine all this stuff, and I will mix it. I forgot to put salt and pepper in here. I'll have to wash my hands and do that, but first I'm going to get this egg yolk and stuff all mixed together first. Alright, let's add the salt and pepper. Mix it up a little bit more. And it is asking us to make 2 loaves with this mixture. So I'm eyeballing it, feeling it, and just deciding off of that my 2 loaves. I am using ground chuck in this recipe. I know it says ground beef, but I am buying ground chuck simply because I feel like if I can't drain this, then I want a leaner choice of meat. That was my thinking. So now there's my 2 loaves. Now we have to open the crescent rolls, press the perforations together, and create 2 rectangles. So and noticing the manufacturer's instructions on the back of the crescent rolls, it does say to cook it at 375, and then this recipe is asking for 300. And I've noticed, I don't know if I've mentioned this before, but I've noticed to go ahead and use the cooking temperature recommended by the manufacturer instead of the cookbook, and you'll have a lot less problems, and it'll be more, it'll be more like it should, the expectations and whatever. And that's finding out through trial and error. So you see I have 2, I just easily ripped that in half. Now I'm going to unroll these carefully. Now see the perforations they're talking about? We're going to press those together. Push it nice and good, make sure it stays together. Now we got our second one. Alright, so now we're going to take our 2 loaves and stick them in there. Try to center them. Fold this over the top. Ooh, perforations are coming open. That's okay though. Last time I made this, I had holes in the ventilation holes, and it was fine. So don't worry too much about that. Okay, now we have our loaves made, and yes, they do look bigger than, differently shaped anyway than in the picture, but it'll taste great. Trust me, this recipe is delicious. So, now I have the air fryer oven preheated for 375, and I'm going to go ahead and stick my loaves on my greased pan. I already sprayed it with cooking spray. We're just going to let that sit in there and preheat, and we will make the sauce when it starts cooking. Alright, now it's time to add it. So now we're going to be jumping back here and looking at the sauce. So I'm going to heat butter over medium-high heat, and I already have the tablespoon of butter in there. So now it calls for a half cup of mushrooms. I'm just going to shove them in there because they're going to break apart a little bit as they're cooking. I just want to make sure like I have a half cup. That looks good. It is a little overstuffed, but then again there's air pockets in there, and I'm going to snack on a mushroom now. I'm going to add the mushrooms. Now we're going to let them cook 5 to 6 minutes, and then we'll add in flour. Mushrooms are cooking down beautifully. I'm getting ready to add in the flour. I'm just going to wait so I can stir it like once or twice more, and then I'll be ready. Doesn't that look yummy? So I just added the flour in there, then we're going to mix it all together. And then, I'm going to turn this heat down a little bit. I'm going to slowly mix in my cream. Now that's just chunks of mushroom stuck to the bottom of it. It's the same measuring cup. So it called for 2 teaspoons of flour, right, and half a cup of mushrooms, and then a half a cup of half and half. It's a lot of halves. So slowly stir in the cream. Now I got to add in parsley. You can see my homegrown parsley jar is running low. I'm going to need to buy more seeds and grow more parsley for sure. Luckily, parsley is a cool weather crop, so I could probably get away with growing it out in my greenhouse, maybe out in the garden, and definitely under a grow light. So those are just some ideas, or even in your kitchen. All right, it is done. Now I gotta take it off that burner because it's an electric stove, obviously, and it will continue to cook, but I just wanted to show you what I got going on. I don't want to overcook that. I'm just gonna stir it in right there. At 10 minutes left, I'm thinking that the crescent rolls, the croissants look a little brown for the time left. So I'm going to go ahead and turn this temp down to 325. I just want to make sure that the beef cooks, because last time there was hints of rareness in there, like slight hints, but it's just beef and that's okay. But, you know, I'm still trying to pinpoint down an accuracy for the temperature timing type deal. So I think I'll cook it for the 18 minutes. I put it on for 22 minutes. So take the time down to 7 minutes left. Oops. Oopsie. Alrighty. Alright, let's take a look at it. Beautiful, isn't it? I'm going to get that plated. See, the gravy stands and it thickens more, so don't make it too soon before you're ready to eat. But I'm going to cut this in half. We'll know. It is a little medium in there. That's okay. The outside definitely is cooked. The inside, I mean, if you want it medium rare, then there you go. There's a medium rare Wellington. And I don't mind because I like my steaks medium rare to rare. So I'm okay with it. I'm just letting you know from my experience how this turned out, the temperature and how long I cooked it and whatever. My experience. Maybe if you wanted it full done, you should go down to the 300 and cook it longer. That's my guess. That's something worth experimenting with. But I'm going to wait on my side dish to get done. Just steamed vegetables. and then I will enjoy my dinner. But thank you everybody for stopping by and checking out this awesome, cheap, Wheaty Tweety meal. It was simple to make, and I love you, and so does Jesus. God bless.